Okay, welcome to my channel. I'm JDS. That was a very fast intro, but I'm going to go with it. Today, we're really going to talk about two things, actually three things. Quickly, Messi has got a contract with Barcelona for 5 years. He's taken almost half. It was half of his pay. I heard it was almost that much cut down on his contract. What's it called? Pay cut. Almost half his earnings pay cut. Something stupid like that. That may be wrong. That's just from reading titles. I haven't actually read a full article on him. Not on him, in that topic. There will be articles in the description to read about it, and I made another video in the future in more depth. Today's more about the Eagles and trying to fix the problems at the club. And one thing I want to touch on very quickly is, unfortunately for the AFL world, Sergio Silvagni has died last night. Now, Sergio Silvagni is a great player with a son who's a great player, and his grandson, is also starting to really push his career. Like, he's not hit the levels we thought he was going to, but he's still a constant player who will get hundreds of games, possibly. He definitely get to 100 games in the AFL. So if you don't know who Sergio Silvagni is, his son is Sos, and the current Silvagni that plays for Carlton is the grandson of Sergio Silvagni. He's died. I'm not actually sure what from. I should probably check up on that. I'll check up on that. Actually, it will be in the description. I may do another video on it. I don't like doing I used to do memorial videos and stuff. I did one for Emiliano Sala's dad and Emiliano Sala, the guy who played Chewbacca, Tommy Smith from Liverpool, many people. The guy from Walking Dead, Herschel, what was his real name? Shit, I've forgotten his real name. Anyway, I used to do quite a few, and it just feels a bit like I'm using people who have died to grow my channel, so I stopped doing it. But yes, he has died. It's very sad. I'm sure there'll be lots of memorials and stuff for him in the games over this weekend. I heard the news last night, but I've only really got a chance to make a video. Now, I've just finished editing the Sierra 7 video, which will come out probably just before this, assuming it saves properly. So yep, let's get into the video about the Eagles and the absolute shit show we are at the moment. I'm going to go in a bit more in depth. Obviously, we lost to Kangaroos. Yes, it was perfect condition for the Roos. Pissing down. We're not good in wet weather. We're not playing well. They're great in wet weather. They're just generally not good. So we were really up for the picking. It was, if they're ever going to beat us, that was the game. But that doesn't mean we should lose. We did lose. Just because we were up for the picking in perfect conditions to beat us doesn't mean we should have lost. And I think, well, there's lots of problems. Like, obviously, we're getting an old team. Our style's starting to go away from the winning style of footy. Obviously, as time goes on, it goes through handballs being the best way and kicking in different styles of play, switch and change for which is the best at that particular time. And it changes probably every 5 years between kicking being the more done thing and more of a handball game, more of a play on, run and go, or a kick, stop, possession game. So it changes, and I think the style we play is starting to, for the last 2 years, it's really been the way to, I guess last week because we won 3 years ago, it's really been the way to get anywhere is to kick, stop, slow, high percentage possessions, but it seems to be going back to faster play, which is why Melbourne have fallen away a bit late. But Eagles is beyond that. We're not playing well all season, really. We've not been bad, but we've not been good, really. We've not got confident this season. And in recent times, the last 4 or 5 games, it's really fallen to shit. And I think it is all based around, not all, it is heavily based around, because it's not, as I said, it's not been good, but recently it's really got bad. And I think it's because we've just got so many players who haven't had consistent games in recent times. By recent times, I mean the last couple of weeks. Like, I think the last 4 or 5 games, every time we've had 4 or 5 people come in and 4 people come out of the squad. And it's not been the same people every time either, so people that's really, in those 4 or 5 weeks, that's easily over a full rotation of the squad. And I think that's what's creating the problems. Because players haven't had consistent games, which means they might play well, they might not. Players coming back from injury as well, so a lot of these players haven't just been dropped. A lot of them have come back from injury. Like we had 2 weeks in a row where we had, I think it was 9. It was 5 in one game and 4 come back in the next game from injury, and they hadn't played from like a month, either long-term injuries. And I think if they'd come back slowly over 10 weeks instead of all at once, it would have worked better. But because they all came at once, it's just thrown. And then Simpsons panicked at the Geelong lost, and obviously more players came back, so it was a big switch up there and a big switch up again last week and the week before that. Oh, what's happened here? Connection error. Well, it's getting pissed off. Yeah, so there was a big last few weeks. There's been a big rotation of players, and I think players just haven't really been able to get into the games, and they're not really in bad form. They're just not in any form because they've not played consistently. And I think that's really hurting us at the moment. And the fact that we're bringing players in again, like we're bringing a debutant on, which is normally, I would say, is a good thing when you're in trouble, to bring on a debutant or someone young to see what they can provide. We did it very well in 2012, whatever it was. We had lots of injuries and we made the final and lost. Or what was the final? We did really well. I think we made the grand final that year and we lost. And we had that's the year McGovern made his name and Barras made his name, and all the players that we have now that weren't already established at that time made their names that year. And that is why it's good to bring in young players. But in the case where I feel the problem is already bringing too many players in, switching the squad too much, it's not going to help, I don't think. Now, hopefully it's going to be a bit drier this week, so hopefully we can get over Adelaide, which aren't a good team either. But yeah, I'm not sure just switching players is going to help anyway. I think it's going to make it worse. Anyway, I may get to make another video on this in the future. Feel free to voice your opinion in the comments, as long as you're polite. I don't want to get any people fighting in the comments. Just why? As long as you politely give your point of view and your argument on a certain point, give what you think. Why do you think we're playing so bad? And anything about Fremantle, they had a bad loss last night to Geelong. It was 70 points? 70? I think 70? Well, it was 70, or 69, I think. I don't know, it was something like that. Because it was 69 because it was 100 to 31 at home as well. So that's a bad loss to Geelong. Hopefully that doesn't, obviously I prefer Eagles to do better than them. Hopefully that doesn't kickstart a run like we've had though, because I don't wish that on them. I don't hate any club in the league except maybe Collingwood, just because it's Collingwood. But anyway, give your opinion in the comments. What do you think? It's been JDS. Thanks. Bye. See you next time. See ya.